3, 2, 1.
What's up, gang?
Can you just say it?
6.5 hours later.
What's up, gang? We back at it with another video. As you guys can tell by the title, this is gonna be a very sensitive. Basically, 3 months ago. Was it 3 months ago?
Yeah, 3 months.
11, 12 weeks ago, we found out that she was pregnant and we were gonna have a baby. And we were, you know, very excited.
I feel like when we first found out, we both weren't kind of like expecting it. It was like I wouldn't say accident, you know, everything happens for a reason, but like we just weren't expecting it, you know.
Definitely weren't expecting it.
And we started to feel really excited, you know.
Very excited. We did a whole, as you guys know in the last video, we did where we showed our families and did a reaction video for you guys to show how supportive our families were through everything. And yeah, we're just excited.
I was being like careful with everything too. I was taking my vitamins and I just thought I was gonna carry full term. We found out around 11 weeks. So prior to this though, I started bleeding. There would be times I would spot a little bit and I would call the doctor and tell them and stuff, but they said that it was considered normal. So I just went on thinking, oh, okay, like this is normal, I guess. I went home for a while to lash and stuff like that, and then I went to visit family and I stayed maybe for like a week and a half. And this was when I was 2.5 months already, yeah. I came back home and then we started to notice that I started bleeding more. And then I was like, this is not normal. He kept telling me like, go into the emergency, go to this. So I would call a doctor, but one thing about hospitals, if you're not already almost dead and dying, they don't care to see you. Everything is over the phone. I ended up going in the second day or the next day.
We're supposed to get the gender
the next phone after. We were going in and I was like really excited. They asked me all these questions first, like how heavy was my bleeding. You know how sometimes in the ultrasound from the last time we went, we seen the baby like moving a little bit. Everything was just kind of like still, this appointment. He moved the screen a little bit and then he was like, hold on, let's just measure the baby real quick. Still no heartbeat. Just seeing her whole demeanor kind of like change when all that was happening, I was just like he kind of just like told us that, you know, the baby didn't make it. I felt literally like my heart was just like ripped out of my chest. You go into an appointment and you have all these expectations. I felt like what he had told me just kept replaying in my head and replaying in my head, and I was just so shocked. How did you feel in that moment?
I was shocked. Couldn't believe it.
And
we didn't think going into an appointment that that's what was gonna be the outcome of that appointment. It hit us harder too because it was our first baby too, and the buildup of just everything, just how we told everybody, how we went about everything, and having so much planned and expecting everything was gonna be okay, to going into an appointment and that being the outcome of it.
Trying to leave that appointment too, I literally couldn't. I felt stuck in that moment. The doctors came back in and then he was just telling us one of 3 things that we can do and all this. I didn't want to hear none of that. I honestly just wanted to just be. Okay, if I start crying. So I just went on, just not thinking, to be honest. I was just like still stuck in that moment. No one ever talks about this type of stuff, you know,
yeah,
like we had no idea on nothing.
Of like, if this happens, what do you do?
What do you do? What happens next?
It would take some days before we even made a decision to the doctor what we were gonna do. And the day after the day we went home, the day after that was the day that shit just hit the fan.
Those days after, I didn't want to do anything.
Like, we couldn't believe it.
We couldn't believe it, honestly.
We couldn't tell nobody. Advice for you guys, I would say, if you guys do go through this, talk to somebody. Make sure you guys have somebody, family, whatever it is, and just let them know. Even for me, like, I still have my boy Marv. She had told my mom, because my mom experienced something like that too. I'm
super close to my mom and I didn't want to tell her yet.
It's just something that we
couldn't talk about. It's hard to talk about, honestly.
I was talking to my mom and she was just saying basically she was gonna get worse and bleeding and hurting and this and that. And I thought it was already bad enough what she was already going through. So what, like 4 or 5 days after was where it kind of really like we had to go to the hospital.
I think I told my mom like a day or two before it got bad. Only because she kept texting me and
but, like, we weren't talking to
nobody. We're kind of just like being closed off. It's just hard because we have a big family, me and him separately. Like we have a huge family. Everybody was always checking up on us, calling us, messaging us, like, and just receiving those texts too hurt me so bad. I couldn't sit there and even talk about it. I didn't want to think about it. I was trying to like process it, and I still have those messages and I still never replied to them. I'm just still getting over it, but it was just really hard for us. I started to feel even more like pain within my back. I was thinking like maybe it's just like the blood, you know, because it kept getting heavier and heavier. I was experiencing really bad cramping. I couldn't even move. I just felt so weak and so drained. Like, to that last day that I had to go to the hospital, I was cleaning. It got worse when I was sitting still and like chilling. So I got up and I started cleaning everything, trying to like distract myself away from like feeling like that. Had no idea what I was even going to go through. Actually, I was washing dishes and I was getting these cramps and these pains. Even when I would take deep breaths, it started to like feel sharp. Still kept cleaning, and I went and laid down, and when I tell you, he was on the game and I had told him, babe, like, I'm getting cramps. I don't know if this is normal. They're like really hurting me. He just thought like, oh, you know, like, you know, she's bleeding and stuff. Okay, you know, she's just going through it, right? And I thought the same thing too, but like this was bad. Ultimately, I knew that I was going to need to go to the doctor. I started at 9 at night and it got worse by 12. At 12, I was literally like moaning on the couch. I felt like he wasn't taking me serious either. He made a fresh bowl of cereal. He was just enjoying his time, and I'm sitting there like thinking I'm gonna take a dump through the front. It was hurting real bad.
I knew she was hurting, but at the end of the day, there's like we had talked to my mom, and it's just you kind of have to go through it. Like there's nothing that you're other than pain medicine, but it's only gonna do so much. At the end of the day, you're still gonna have to go through it. So I was there for as much as we could, but then we had to take it to the hospital. And at that, the hospital didn't do shit. So the hospital was probably a very bad decision. I think that it would have probably been better
to just do it here. It just felt like at that time, like the bottom of my stomach was just so effing heavy. I was still on the phone with my mom, and she was like, you need to call the doctor and you need to basically go to the emergency room now. I didn't even want to talk, so I told him to like call my doctor. So he called, and when it comes to this type of stuff, I don't know if it's just because like people in the hospital don't give a but they were like so inconsiderate about it.
They give zero
advice, zero anything.
Bro, I could work at the hospital, bro, and give you better advice than what the they give you.
They just didn't care, and how inconsiderate every one of them was at what's the hospital called right here? I'm gonna give you guys the right hospital not to go to. Panorama Kaiser. Don't go there. I was in the bathroom and I just remember looking down at the toilet. There was so much blood. Like TMI, you know, if this is sensitive for you, you can probably stop watching here, but I started blood clotting really bad, and when I tell you, they were literally the palm of my hand, like the size of them. I was just like shocked, like what is coming out of me, what is happening. I was shocked myself. My body's going through it. I'm literally shaking. I'm going through so much pain, and then on top of that, we have to rush to the hospital, which is luckily down the street. I'm bleeding at the same time, so I put
it can't be stopped. Like,
yeah, so I put a long pad on, right? And then I put my sweats on. I have a t-shirt on and a robe, right? We get checked in and gets a wheelchair. He wheels me in because at this point it even hurts to stand up. I can't even breathe because I'm getting all of like those sharp pains. Girl in the front was just like, and I was telling her like, oh, like, you know, I had a miscarriage. And then she looks at me and she's like, so you didn't take no medication that the doctor prescribed you? Like, and I'm sitting there and I'm just like, girl, like what the I know there's certain questions that they ask you, but like she was just sitting there looking at me like, really? As if there's a bunch of girls that go in there and it happens often and that's what it is.
Like that's why they act like that, is because they probably see the shit so much that they're just like whatever to shit. But it's different when it's you or somebody, you know? Even
after I get checked in, y'all wouldn't even believe how long We had to wait. We had to wait almost 2 hours. An hour and literally 40, 45, 50 minutes. The doctor or the nurse, whatever, to come out and call me in or whatever. So we go in, get you all checked in, right, to see what's going on. They ran a blood test on me. After the blood test, they were gonna do an ultrasound, but when they were doing my blood test, super weak with blood, just to mind you guys, I cannot look at the needle. If I were to see my blood being taken, I would literally pass out. How big? He has to literally comfort me. It's really bad. So I'm sitting there, mind you, I'm already weak and they're taking more blood out of me. They're getting my blood drawn and I'm laying down and I could feel something coming out. I'll just leave it there. So right when they get done with that, I get up. I bled through everything. I bled through my pad, my underwear, my sweats, my robe that I had on top. I bled through everything and I looked back and the whole, like the chair was just like bloody. So I'm going to the bathroom. He's trying to tell me, he's like, take off your underwear and your sweats and stuff, like go to the bathroom. And I pull it down and I said, like, I can't. And he's like, why? Like, bleeding. I feel like I'm gonna just bleed everywhere. So I take it down, you guys. I will never forget this. What we seen was just like, I was stuck. Like I pulled down my pants. It was bad. I had blood going down my legs. My underwear, everything was soaked. Threw all that away.
And there was blood all over the bathroom.
It just felt like, oh, my baby. I couldn't even believe it. I'm at the hospital, but I'm doing this in the bathroom. Not even in a room. And the room that we were in, it didn't even have a door. We didn't even have no privacy. It was in the middle of the hallway. That's why we were in the bathroom. I took my chones off and everything. I didn't even want to let go of it. I'm doing all this standing up. I'm not laying down or anything. I'm doing everything standing up. And I am literally so weak. Like, it was just bad. He cleans me up and everything. And I'm just standing there and I'm letting him clean me. I get gowned up and everything. And they go to the other room, the first room that we were in. And we're waiting the ultrasound tech to come in and give me like an ultrasound. So then she takes me there, we do the ultrasound.
They basically just had to see how much blood clots and stuff you had left in you before you stopped bleeding. Yeah, took us up to a regular room, got you situated. They didn't let her drink or eat anything because I guess they had to wait until they had reviewed the ultrasound.
They gave me an IV because I was weak and I just felt sick.
Yeah. Whole experience though, all we got was basically some medicine. It was basically pointless to go to the hospital. We just bled out at a different place. Like
we just went to use their bathroom, basically.
The other two nurses that helped us when we were in the room were very helpful. We had this one, I want to say she was like Filipino. She was very sweet. She was actually considerate and asking how I was feeling and actually let us know what was happening. We didn't leave until 5 in the morning. Like 5 in the morning, and we still had to go to the store to get more pads because we had none. We just had the hospital ones, but the hospital ones are super thin, so we had to find a store at 5, 6 in the morning when nothing was open. And basically I asked out because nothing was open. So,
yeah, I was at the hospital for 4 to 5 hours. We left around like 5 in the morning.
So we had to basically thug it out all night. By the time we got back, it kind of slowed down. I feel like it was the worst at the hospital and everything kind of really just went through. Yeah. And by the time we got home, laid down and stuff, first thing in the morning, I went to go get her more stuff so she could have. So, yeah, that was like first thing in the morning. So we had barely slept, and yeah, just that whole experience was just insane.
Crazy. He went to work for a while. And just me being like by myself, it was different. That's definitely a memory I'm always gonna remember. And all I can say is like those emotions that I was going through after I came back home from the hospital, I feel like it just weighed so heavy on me. I just felt so alone. Feeling like your body has failed you, it literally sucks. And it's hard to believe that like everything happens for a reason because it's just like, why, you know?
This is an experience that I don't wish on anybody, just because, especially for your first time having a kid, the excitement, just all the different feelings, and then you get past that and you're expecting and you got all the love, and then that happens, and then you got to go through all of that again. So this happened about 3 weeks ago, and we're barely had the healing from it, and are sharing this with you guys because we posted it, and we had a lot of people saying that
their experience and sharing what had happened with them.
This just happened to me. Like, we went through this. Like, you would never know about anything. Even us, before that happened, I would think like, oh, that's easy to, talk about. It's easy to, but we literally kept it from everybody for 2 to 3 weeks and didn't say nothing about it. We were going about our day every single day.
Lying to people,
for me,
literally.
It was more so like everybody was asking just so much. How's the baby? How's Jessica? We don't know what to say, and we're just kind of throwing it off because we're still healing from what we're going through, and it's kind of hard to talk about. It is a natural thing to happen. It just sucks that's what comes with it.
I feel like for a while I was questioning, like, God, why does this happen? With all this happening and us coming out and talking about it, I feel like God kind of gave us this platform to also share our experience because of so many people that went through it, to share awareness and kind of let you know that, like, you're not alone. I'm a person who prays through everything and all that, but when that happened, I stopped. I was so mad at God. Like, I just didn't understand. I had all these questions, and it was like, why? There's really no answer for it. But this situation really brought us closer, to prepare us more, to let us be grateful for what we do have and what is to come. If I can help anyone else out there that's going through this, I want to just say it's okay to talk and be vulnerable about situations. We can never heal and get through things if we don't talk about them or have a form of like releasing it, whether that's talking to someone, whether that's journaling it. I personally journal how I feel sometimes because it's too much for me to put on him, and I feel like as a person, like, just for me personally, I don't like to pour out how I feel onto people because I feel like it's too much. I started like journaling how I felt. It's honestly like a release. If it's hard for you to talk about certain situations, journal it. That way too, you can get to know exactly how you feel and why you feel a certain way. All I have to say is, like, you're not alone. Don't feel like you're alone. This is what a friend told me too when I came out and talked to her about it, and I'll never forget this advice that she's giving me. But she was like, sometimes we're not given reasons or answers as to why certain things happen, but never blame God, because whether you believe it or not, things do happen for a reason, whether that's to create or break a different version of you, but to let it out to God. Do whatever you need to do. Like, if you're mad, express those feelings, because only God knows how you truly feel. Just be vulnerable and be open sometimes to certain situations, because that's how you heal from things, right?
That's some good advice.
Right?
Just all the advice that we could really give you guys. And for the guys, I just feel like
you're not alone. You're not alone.
Advice I give you guys is be there as much as you can for your girl. Just make sure that you're taking care of yourself at the same time. You're going to give so much energy towards somebody else and try to make sure they're good. But don't forget that you have to heal yourself. And
you have feelings as well, so exactly. Talk about them. I was going through this whole thing and I felt like he didn't understand, but at the same time too, I felt like during that time I could have understood his feelings more and been more considerate.
At the end of the day, you guys are both going through it.
Yeah.
Even though the girl is still going through it, obviously more, you still have to be there for them, but at the same time, you have to know that don't ignore everything going on about yourself.
Your feelings are just as valid as ours are. I feel like as a man, sometimes you guys think, oh, like, we can't cry, we gotta toughen it up. Have to put on this persona that they're this masculine energy and they have to do this and do that and they don't have time to cry. Like, no, it's not healthy. Honestly, I wouldn't even want a man like that. It's okay to say how you feel. It's okay to feel how you feel. And it's okay to talk about it when you need to talk about it. Just make sure that you have someone there to talk about it with. Women out there who've gone through it and who think about self-harm, go outside, get some sun. Just know that there's a purpose, you know? Like, whether things happen and you don't understand why, there is a purpose behind it all. I feel like our purpose with this was just to help out the next person who will maybe go through it, has gone through it and still can't get over it. Just know that you're not alone and you're loved, and pray about it. We love y'all.
Stay tuned for more content,
vlogs and everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
All we're about to get on our grind. Yeah, we post on our Instagram if you guys don't follow us already.
Whatever content you guys do want to see, you guys can comment below, or if you guys have us on Instagram, DM us and let us know things that you do want to see, and we got y'all.
If you guys watched through this full video, hit our DMs, and if you guys experience anything like this, just know we're
there for you guys. Yes.
Down below, comments, video ideas, hit the DMs, share, follow.
Thank you guys so much. We appreciate and love you guys, and just stay tuned for more. Love y'all.